Yeah, how's it going, guys? It's Richie Unicorn Caller here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are back with some pretty breaking news. This is pretty, insane, and I am just super excited. But we have the teaser for the upcoming fall 2025 update for Wizard101. So, yeah, without further ado, here is your teaser. And this is it. Darkmore beckons you, Wizard! Coming fall 2025. Hashtag Wizard101, hashtag Wizard101 Darkmore. And that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Through all the speculation and all the leaks, Darkmore is confirmed to be the next world for the fall 2025 Wizard101. And that's pretty awesome. And we have a little cool image here. I'm not really the best when it comes to these little image analysis or breakdowns. I'll leave that for the other wizheads. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Darkmore was always known for having a dark and gloomy type of atmosphere. Up top here, we can see the little moon shining and what appears to be a building of some sort. It almost kind of looks like Castle Darkmore in a sense. I don't know, like graveyard. It's giving like graveyard vibes. I don't know. It just looks nice in the moonlight. So I'm super excited for that. And we can also speculate on what's going to be in this update. Now, we also don't know if this is just going to be a complete expansion of Darkmoor, because we technically already have Darkmoor, or if this is just going to be its own separate world and it's literally just going to have its own world gate, which I hope it does. It should have its own world gate and everything. So I'm super excited about that. We have the wizard over here with his standard gear with the book. Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, overall, it looks pretty cool. You know, I'll let you guys figure out if we can find any hidden details in here, but this is pretty beautiful. The last time we have seen Darkmore, which is something I wanted to talk about, was actually all the way in November 2024, and that's when they introduced a bunch of stuff. I actually have the update notes here, and I thought we might do a little bit of compare contrast about all the years we've had in Wizard101. But as you can see, we got the new dungeons here, one in Krakatopia, one in Marleybone, another one in Krakatopia, and then this one, Castle Darkmore. And absolutely love it. Level 100 wizards could do it. You talk to Dworgen, pretty cool stuff. We also got new shadow enhanced spells, and we also had equipment sets. Pretty cool stuff, and a nice little quality of life stuff. They added in new member benefits, they added in the combat idol, they even added in a new minigame, catch a key. They fixed a few quests, they did some awesome little spell updates, pretty cool stuff. Yeah, they did a lot back in the day. Now, obviously, a lot has changed. I will say, a lot has changed since 2014, especially whenever it comes to updates, because, of course, nowadays, whenever we get these updates, we get ahead of ourselves, we get super excited, and then it's really broken, and it's really rushed, and it's untested, and it sucks. But I am super excited that they are going back to Darkmoor. Now let's talk about all the prerequisites about Darkmoor, or at least how to even get to this point, because we're going to see a big gap of players that still have not completed Selenopolis. Now, when Selenopolis came out back in the day, right, a lot of people, including myself, were kind of on the fence about, is this a side world? Is this like a side area? Is it confirmed that we have to do it? And also some interpersonal office stuff, which we will not be talking about anymore. It kind of just narrowed away Selenopolis, and I feel like a lot of people just didn't do Selenopolis because of those reasons. But in case you don't know, Selenopolis is mainline, so if you have not completed Selenopolis yet, you won't actually be able to even proceed in the mainline of the game, which, yes, includes the new world, Darkmoor, which is also going to be mainline. So please make sure you do Selenopolis and just get out of the way. I promise it is not that bad. I really like Selenopolis. I feel like Selenopolis doesn't get a lot of like good reputation. I thought the boss battles were pretty good. The level difficulty was not too bad. I love the challenge modes. The challenge modes were absolutely amazing, and I also love the challenge mode gear set, which actually segues into something else I wanted to talk about, and I am curious on if KI is ever going to do a Wizard City Darkmore, I guess, challenge mode. You know, Darkmore's been out for like a year, you know, but it would be kind of interesting to see if this new world of Darkmore is going to have a challenge mode gear set, the same as Selenopolis, or if they're maybe going to go back to the old Darkmore dungeons, put challenge mode into there, and maybe add some new spellments. I mean, hopefully not, because I think kind of getting tired of the whole spellment farming situation, especially with Mount Olympus and the Aquila Chronicle update, which we talked about. But I am curious to see if they are working on a challenge mode gear set, because I have pretty much all the challenge mode gear sets. Now that I think about it, I got the Aquila one, I got the Selenopolis one, and then I'm working on the boss rematch ones, but that's just going to take me forever because you have to make the boss rematches, blah, blah, blah. You know, that's going to be a while. But otherwise, I really do like it. And it gives me kind of like a sense of like, I don't know, difficulty. Because, you know, you have your standard PvE moments where it's just like blade stack, mass feint, and then just kill, you know, AoE hit. But I would really love for like a really hard boss, you know. I was actually helping some friends out with the Devourer. That boss is still hard to this day. Even as a level 170 wizard, that is still a hard boss for a lot of people to do. Just because a lot of people haven't done that boss. But if they do challenge mode, which I hope they do, that would be awesome. Now what I don't want them to do is what they did with the Nightmare Dungeon. In which case, where they launch it on challenge mode only. That would be terrible. Just make it challenge mode and standard mode, so people can have their own preference of, you know, things to do, right? Because when the Nightmare Dungeon did release, and we had that big fiasco, oh my gosh. I think the main problem was just launching it in challenge mode first, and then later launching it in standard mode, and then adding that pack. You know, it's just like, it gives me a headache. That's another thing I did want to talk about. I am curious about what the gear is going to be like, especially if we are going to be potentially level 180 wizards. I say potentially because I don't know what KI has in store, but if we are going to be level 180 wizards, then what is this gear going to be like? Is this going to be the next big gear that is going to outnumber even the new raid gear, or will this perhaps be something that we can probably somewhat farm for and then probably just skip out on, you know? And I think that's another thing that the community has a problem with, is the gear farming. I would love for this Darkmore, or whatever it is, in 2025 to have some pretty cool gear for level 180 wizards. But at the same time, if it's going to be something as a slight buff, or something that's so minuscule to the point where you actually really don't need it, then it kind of comes to that point where it's like, okay, well, it's not really worth it. I usually farm the gear for some of these new worlds all the time, mainly not even for the stats, but for the aesthetics, because you guys know me, I love aesthetics. I can't go in battle anywhere without looking like a clown, okay? Which obviously my wizard right now is kind of looking like a clown right now, you know? So that's another thing I hope, that the aesthetics of it are going to be good. Now, in terms of what the update will entitle, it will probably just have some few slice of life updates, some new spells here and there and stuff like that. I wouldn't say that we're going to get like 4 new dungeons just like we did back in 2014. I definitely don't think that's going to happen, because just, you know, different time period, and a lot of people have different interests in the game nowadays, and just general like concern, or just their priorities are kind of straightforward. You know, I don't think they're really prioritizing much about the throwback of it, but I am pretty excited for it. Now, for all you guys on the Xbox game preview, there is still zero news about Wizard101 on console. I know you're frustrated. I get it. I see it 24/7, but there really hasn't been any news about Wizard101 on console. Now, one thing to remind you guys on consoles for it, especially when the launch does happen, or whenever that happens, is that whenever these PC players, including myself, whenever we get these updates, it will take the console players a few, I wouldn't say months, but it will take them a little bit longer to get those updates. And the reason why is because they have to send that update list to the parental companies like you know, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, and that has to get verified and approved. And then once that gets approved, then they can initialize that new version of the game into the file. So that's the way that updates work a little bit differently, rather on PC and on the consoles. You know, PC is something they can easily put a maintenance on for it, but with the consoles, it is a little bit different, especially with each of the ones individually. You know, they have their own priorities, they have their own certificates and rules and all that stuff. Different policies as well, a lot of policies. So, as a fair warning for all you console players, just, you know, because I think what's gonna happen is that if this does come out in fall 2025 and it's still going to be in beta, which it probably will be, we're going to see a lot of PC players play this as per usual. And then we're going to see a lot of Xbox game preview players ask, like, okay, well, I'm a max level. Like, where is my update for the new Darkmore world? And that's what we're going to see. And remember, if you're on the Xbox game preview, just remember that your data is going to be wiped out entirely either way. So just wanted to let y'all know. But overall, I am excited for Darkmore. I think Darkmore is going to be fun, and I'm super excited. Like I said, just make sure you complete Selenopolis, because if you don't, then, well, you're going to be far behind, and we're probably already going to be farming the final boss of Darkmore whenever it does come out. I mean, yeah, I could play Test Realm as long as Test Realm doesn't frustrate me too much, but yeah, I'm super excited. You know, it's been a chill year for Wizard101. You know, besides the Portal Apparel being gone and Scion Spellman still not working, and a few other things such as the Aquila Spellmans having their own, drop rates and stuff like that. But beyond that, it's actually been kind of chill. I love the new raid. Ghastly Conspiracy Raid is great. I think if you have a decent team, it can go great. I mean, the wand itself is absolutely gorgeous. I get that question a lot about where I got this wand. The wand itself is gorgeous, and it's just been fun hanging out with everybody. So we'll see what happens with this new world. I am super excited, and hopefully they give us some more teasers on the next KI Live whenever that's going to be scheduled. But yeah, I am just super excited to go back to Darkmore. Darkmore has always had a sweet spot in my heart. Just love it. Just love everything about it. Like the dungeons, the drops, just everything about it, man, was just fun. It's definitely not gonna like give me that same kid energy as it did like back in 2014, because like I said, a lot of things changed. But again, I am just super excited to try it out. So let me know what you guys think about that, and yeah, until then, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.